Quarterback Brock Huard has transformed the Washington offense into an all-out passing attack and an assault on the Husky record book. The multi-dimensional Akili Smith leads the explosive Ducks, beating defenses in a number of ways and emerging as an MVP candidate in the Pac-10. Two of the league's best take to the air today on ABC Sports. The clouds have rolled in over the hills to cover Autzen Stadium on a cold, damp, rainy autumn afternoon in Eugene, Oregon for the 92nd meeting in an old Northwest rivalry between the Huskies of Washington and the number 20 team in the country, the Ducks of Oregon. And hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Terry Gannon. They have met on the field nearly every year since the turn of the century. That is a lot of time for ill will and animosity to build up. It was a time when Oregon was really the pesky little brother trying to hang around with the Washington Huskies and their friends. That has all changed. The Ducks have now won 3 of the last 4 meetings. The intensity has risen to a different level in this rivalry. And today it is about trying to get to a mid to high level bowl. 2 losses for both teams. Washington still trying to be bowl eligible. We bring in my partner, Tim Grant. Tim, high-powered offenses, but lately some outages for them.
Well, both teams struggled last week. Let's start with Brock Huard of Washington. He's a big-time talent, and he's very competitive, and it is those 2 traits which really have him frustrated right now because his team really was mediocre last week. Now, he wants everybody to play beyond their capabilities today against Oregon, and they will have to win this game. On the other side, Akili Smith, he is a big-time talent as well. And I need to tell you, folks, they have put the game plan right squarely on his shoulders against a Washington team which had 35 sacks in the last 4 games. So
a chill in the air in Eugene, Oregon. Autzen Stadium absolutely packed. They've looked forward to this one all season long. Perfect football weather if you grew up in the Northwest. Mike Bellotti, the head coach of the Oregon Ducks in his 4th year, 28-15 overall. Very confident about this team, Timmy, especially with a guy like Akili Smith running the show, but they've struggled, as you mentioned, recently on offense.
Yeah, but he thinks they had a real good week of practice. He keeps things in perspective. He knows the rivalry that has built with this club, and he fully expects the Ducks to come out and play to their max here this afternoon. I thought he was very congenial and very relaxed when we talked with him yesterday.
Of course, on the other sideline, Jim Lambright in his 6th year, but he's been on this staff, of course, for 30 years, so he's been around. He's taken some heat in the local media, and I'll tell you what, with what he has done with this program and what it had to come back from with the probation and the hits it took, I think it's ridiculous.
He's won 43 games at Washington, and you're right, he did that under adverse conditions. He graduated from Washington. He played for Jim Owens. They should never let him go from that campus.
Jim Skursky will get us underway. Back deep, Michael Fletcher and Jason Cooper as Oregon won the toss, and they will receive. And we're underway from Eugene. Short kick, and that is about 10 yards out of bounds, and they'll bring it out to the 35. An auspicious start for Skursky and the Washington Huskies. Trying to keep it away from the deep men. The chilly starting lineups for the Oregon Ducks. The offensive line has to play better. They didn't protect Akili Smith at all last week. Michael Clues a key at tackle. A great duo. Damon Griffin and Tony Hartley, as good as they've had here at wideout for a long time. And Darian Latimer. All the injuries in the backfield. Both of these teams struggling trying to rush the football. Chris Young back starting at fullback. He was out with a stinger in his neck. And there is a look at Akili Smith, probably the most explosive quarterback in the Pac-10. And most of the scouts and most of the coaches say if you look at the next level, he's the guy from this league who will have the greatest career. Going to throw deep on 1st down. Damon Griffin one-on-one and incomplete. Good coverage by Terry Butler.
Yeah, see, this is a secondary that has really been shaky. It's a secondary that they're not even confident in at Washington. And so Oregon wants to take its shot early, and they did. And Smith almost had the completion, but Butler did a great job. As a matter of fact, Butler located the ball almost immediately. Now, if you look at the heads, both guys looking back at the ball, they both have a right to it, a little pushing and shoving and bumping and grinding, but normally you won't get a flag early on. You can get away with that. Good defense.
Going to be a lot of pushing and shoving and talking this afternoon. 2 teams that know each other very well. Here comes Latimer looking for room, not going to find any. Over the right side, wrapped up at the 32. Jeremiah Farms made the hit along with Todd Johnson, a former walk-on and the leading tackler.
Actually lost a couple.
Yep. And the starting lineups for Washington defensively, a very good defensive front. They lead the nation in sacks. Mari Issa leading the way. Todd Johnson, we mentioned him, the leading tackler on the team. He also has 7 sacks. Lester Towns with a bad foot. And this secondary that has been banged up, shifted around. Nigel Burton getting the start at cornerback. Anthony Von Tour moves into that strong safety or rover position. So it brings up 3rd and 13. Akili Smith with the straight drop. Set up the screen for Latimer looking for a block. Some room initially and out to the 38, but well short of a first down. Todd Johnson again in on the stop along with Hakeem Akbar.
Well-designed play. They took 3 wide receivers. They spread them deep, ran out the secondary, and then tried to throw the screen and come back underneath to the vacated area. But great pursuit by Washington early. They're running to the football. Right now they're playing with a great deal of speed and a lot of intensity.
The Joe of all trades, Joe Jarzinka, back deep, awaiting the punt from Josh Bidwell, one of the best in the country, 2nd in the Pac-10. Snap a little wide, but no pressure.
Wow.
And what a punt. Jarzinka back to his 12 and fumbles it. Ball is still loose, but they get it back. So the Huskies take over. The Chile starting lineups for them. An offensive line that also has been shaken up a bit. Tony Coates getting a start at the tackle. Cadlet's moves to guard. Gerald Harris a bit banged up, but he will start. Great speed with Desasure at the other wideout spot. And Willie Hurst, a running back, as the Huskies try to get their ground game going a little bit. Brock Huard brings them to the line of scrimmage at the 10-yard line. 4 wideouts. They use the H-back. Huard, quick out. He's got Dane Looker close to a first down. On first down, Brandon McLemore drove him out of bounds. Looker had 12 catches last week against USC. That's a Washington record. The defense that the Huskies will go up against. That defensive line really led by the defensive ends. Patu and Miller trying to get to Brock Huard. They don't blitz a whole lot. Chris Vanderveer has done a great job stepping up at middle linebacker. And Bowman, their best cover guy, the most talented man in the secondary.
Stadium's loud. Huard's changing the play.
2nd and 1. Give it to Hurst, fighting his way to the 20. I'm not sure he got it. He was really popped.
He's been near the bottom of the pack. But anybody in the conference will tell you this year the defense has really improved. They'd like to make a stop here on 3rd and short.
So it's 3rd and inches. Long count for Huard. Going to run it straight up the middle, and flags all over the place. As Willie Hurst ran straight into the
pick it up.
Dead ball, no play. False start, offense.
Moot point. Doesn't make any difference.
Hurst offset in the backfield. Look at what they have done on 3rd down. The quick throw out, incomplete. Nice play by Eric Edwards on the coverage. Trying to hit Gerald Harris was Brock Huard that time, right at the stake.
Boy, dangerous pass to get the first, and Edwards almost had the pick. Now, he read this almost immediately because Huard looked in that direction as soon as the pattern developed. Now, look, he's looking. Edwards breaks, almost has the interception. The ball's high. Had it been a little bit lower, he could have had it.
Their feet got tangled up a little bit, too. I think that helped him. Ryan Fleming on. Michael Fletcher back at his 45. Low snap. And a low punt. Fletcher better get away from that thing. Jim Lambright knows what he's up against. He's been to Autzen Stadium plenty of times throughout his career, and this is a loud stadium. 1st and 10 for the Ducks. Their 2nd possession intended for Damon Griffin. Not well thrown. Brown, the junior, in at tailback now, right behind Chris Young. They'll operate out of the eye. They're going to run the option, and this is where Akili Smith is so dangerous. Keeps it and gets to the 47 before Lester Towns, the junior out of Pasadena, California.
With great size and good speed. I was listening to a sports show this morning, and they said he is the classic drop-back passer. And I'm thinking, well, it's pretty good on that corner, too, because he gets out and he'll run that option. And he's got that live arm, so he's dangerous in so many different ways. And I think probably he's most dangerous when the play breaks down and he gets into his creativity.
Brock Huard, maybe the classic drop-back passer. Akili Smith is not a guy who I would describe that way.
I laughed.
3rd and 4 for the Ducks under pressure. Smith throws it away. Here comes the flag. That's got to be grounded.
I mean, there is no question but the fact he was just trying to unload this. Now, if you'll watch it, he's just surrounded by linemen, all right? And he throws it, and the big guys are the only ones there. Joe's got to maintain his emotions, though. He's got to keep them harnessed. The first time he started running without the ball and almost lost it.
Josh Bidwell, a 51-yard punt on his first attempt. Another snap this time, and another bomber. Garzinka just 15 steps out of bounds as soon as he caught the football in a game that we expected, and most did, to be a shootout between the two quarterbacks.
So far, Terry, it's been a game of field position, and Oregon's had the advantage. They've started offensively with great field position, and Washington's had poor, but still haven't been able to capitalize.
The Huskies out of the eye now. Jamon Willis in at fullback ahead of Willie Hurst, the tailback. Brock Huard going to give it to Hurst over the left side. Tripped up initially by Aaron Chevron. Haven't given it to Kansas State at this point. Everyone's kind of assumed that they're going to beat Nebraska. Huard to throw. Got Juergens. Didn't gain much, though. Out to the 22. Chris Juergens, the freshman of Olympia, Washington, before Justin Wilcox brought him down.
They keep spreading the field, and when they do that, they're spreading the Oregon defense a little bit thin. Now, today, the Ducks are trying to get back to that gangrene defense they used to really lay claim to, but they aren't getting the pressure that they were hoping for on Huard, because it's just like that. The three-step drop, the throw, release before the pressure can ever get to him.
3rd and 2, and for the first time, we see Marcus Tuiasosopo in at quarterback. They'll run the option. That's what he does so well. Tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. He fell ahead near a first down. Michael Fletcher was the man who got his feet. We'll have to wait for the
game. They have to know that. They get the first down. They've got to know as soon as he comes in, they're going to run the football. So that means the number 1, the Fletcher, the rover, he's got to come up right now. See him? He comes up, he puts the pressure. He just didn't wrap his arms and take him down where he first hit him. Tuiasosopo leaned forward and got the first down.
Marcus out now and Brock Huard back in, but last week against USC, Jim Lambright did some trickery. He put Tuiasosopo in, Huard out at the wideout spot, and Marcus threw the football. And on the next down, Brock Huard ran a quarterback draw, which you don't expect him to do. 1st and 10 at the 26. Quick out, Dane Hooker to catch, but he's tripped up right away. Michael Fletcher. How quick is Fletcher to Oregon needs?
And that means they're probably playing zone coverage, and for Huard, that's just easy pickings.
How about that Michigan score? The final and a huge win for the Wolverines, who still could go to the Rose Bowl. Willie Hurst trying it straight up the middle.
Look at this. Look at this. Here they are, all the way across the field. See? And there's only one back here. So they thinned out in here, so they're just going to run in here and attack the soft spots. Go ahead and run it, and you see what happens. Now, I will say this. The front 6 for Oregon played that extremely well and actually won the battle up front. But it was what Huard wanted. He got it. They just didn't execute.
Another key 3rd down for Huard. 3 receivers to the near side as he changes the play. Quick drop. Broken up right at the line of scrimmage.
Maybe gangrene is back. Defense playing pretty well. Huard this time, he's looking, never looks off of his receiver. And I mean, they're coming in with big hands. Big hands for Hamish.
Fletcher back at his 32. Much better punt from Fleming this time. From the 27. Fletcher almost got outside. Brought down at the 32-yard score in Eugene, Oregon, as the Ducks take over at their own 33-yard line. 3rd possession of the game for them. This is the average starting position for both teams. Washington deep in their own territory for each of their possessions.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, Terry. I mean, it's been terrific field position to start these offensive drives for Oregon, but they haven't been able to capitalize. Really, certainly haven't moved the football.
Darren Latimer started the game, but they've tried nearly everyone in that backfield. Quick throw behind Griffin. He can't hang on.
You know, you're talking about the running backs. Ruben Drones, of course, had those 202 yards and a couple touchdowns against Michigan State. He had 3 200-yard games. Then he broke his leg. Herman Ho-Ching, as you mentioned, against UTEP, got banged up, hurt his knee. And Kevin Parker at his ankle. So, you know, when your top 3 tailbacks get hurt, and then Latimer, of course, got his shot and had 79 yards in the second half against USC, but it's just not the same. You never really get in that rhythm. And your tailbacks don't get a good fit with your offensive line. And you never get in sync, and that's been a problem.
And neither team has been able to do that. On the other side, Washington, Maurice Shaw's been out with back surgery. Jason Harris is out with a pinched nerve. It's rested on the shoulders of the quarterbacks. Keely Smith, with plenty of time, completes this one to Tony Hartley. His first catch of the afternoon. finally brought down at the 39. We'll see where the forward progress took it. Anthony Von Tour, the Rover, stopped him there. Joe Jarzinka, who does everything for Washington, back at his own 19. And no pressure again. This one high but short under pressure. Jarzinka fumbles the football. The Ducks have it. The first big play of the game. There is a flag down, and it may be the 2-yard rule.
They did encroach the 2-yard marker. There's no question about it. Plus the fact that Renard Edwards was in there as well, and I think he actually bumped into his own guy, Jarzinka.
You have to give him the 2-yard cushion. And I'm sure that's what they're going to call.
Pass interference with the opportunity to catch the kick. 2-yard belt. 5-yard penalty from the spot. First down 10.
Now watch, even if he pushes his own guy into his man, that's an encroachment. Now there's the two-yard circle. Actually, he was not pushed in, but he definitely encroached in the 2-yard circle. So even though they don't like the call, it's a good one.
Joe likes it. McLemore was within the 2 yards. There's no question, but it was Jarzinka who came up after McLemore was there. Doesn't matter though. So it's 1st and 10 from the 30. Heward on the roll. Throws quick out right through the hands of Dane Rooker. Rock, the 3rd all-time leading passer in Washington history, his brother Damon, #1. And there's what he did a week ago, setting Pac-10 records and Washington records in timing it. Willie Hurst, a good gain over the right side across the 35 to the 36 before Chris Vanderveer.
Got some good blocking too. Watch the right side of this thing, because they're going to come up right behind those big linemen. They're following Hutton, Ward, and Dalen, and look, they get a good push out there. It was a breakdown on the inside, but the outside got the push. Had he had one more step to the outside, he would have been moving those chains and then picking up 10, 20 more yards.
Brad Hutt, the center, and here's his name every time the quarterback wants to snap. Jarzinka in the slot now. 3 receivers to the near. Bit of motion before the snap. Flags down as Chris Jurgens catches the pass for a 1st down, but I believe they got an illegal shift or illegal motion in the back.
Illegal motion, offense. 5-yard penalty.
See, that would have been fine had it been 1 play.
5 receivers again for Heward. Under pressure, going up top to Jurgens with the dive. Can't make the catch. And covered by Justin Wilcox.
And he got good pressure. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to go up top on a timing pattern. And he does. Look, here he is up here on a short post now, and he puts the ball up. But it almost looks like he stopped running the pattern. And as soon as Jurgens stopped running the pattern, there's the ball waiting for him. And he goes up in one hand's not going to bring it in.
It's been all defense so far. Line drive punt. Fletcher at his 28. One way, then the other, and then backwards. Is there a blue-gray sky? Herman Ho Ching, who has been out with a knee injury since September 19th, has now made his way back into the lineup. Play action for Smith. Plenty of time. Going deep to Haynes. Donald Haynes to the 16. One-on-one with Nigel Burton, the cornerback. Haynes had him beat. Burton saved a touchdown.
Ho Ching came in. It looked like he was going to run an underneath pattern. The corners went soft. Butler went soft. Burton went soft. And all of a sudden, they see a guy behind them. Now, look, there's number 8 right there, Burton. They run right by him because he was biting and looking at Ho Ching up tight. By that time, the wide receiver Haynes had gotten a couple steps on him, and the ball was perfectly thrown by Smith. They've gone after the secondary several times now. They finally caught him.
53 yards on the pass. Here comes Herman Ho Ching trying the right side. Inside the 15 to the 14 before Jabari Issa brings him down along with Lester to football.
Tell you this, too. Ho Ching gives him a little bit of life when he comes back in. They didn't know if he'd play. As soon as he does, I think the entire offense starts to pick it up a little bit. The other thing is, now that Oregon's down inside the 15-yard line, that's like chum to a shark. I mean, they are very, very successful careful when they get down in the red zone.
Player down is Brendan Jones, the free safety. And good news, he's up.
Talk about success. Look at this. 32 times inside the red zone, and they've come away with 30 scores. And what's most impressive about that is they're not all field goals. They've got 21 touchdowns, so they've converted 65% of the time into the end zone.
There goes Herman Ho-Ching trying the left side. Looking to get outside. And fighting his way inside the 10. And it gets to the 8 for a first down. He didn't get there, but he gets to the 10-yard line before Burton tripped him up.
Yeah, and Hartley got him a block, but it was Ho-Ching who brought the entire crowd to its feet with a little bit extra effort. We told you when he came into the ball game, he got all his players excited. But when he dove forward and got that extra effort and a few more yards, he got the crowd excited. Now watch, he'll actually get hit just inside the 15-yard line. Okay, here comes the hit. Now watch the extra effort on the bad knee. Once, twice, dives inside the 10, picked up an extra 5, and brought the crowd roaring to its feet.
Got a nice block from Tony Hartley to spring it. Ho-Ching with a carry, dances around and gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Again, he has to get to the 8 for the first down. Jeremiah Farms, the sophomore out of Sacramento, on the stop, and they're about a yard shy of a first down.
Terry, this is a team, Oregon, that averages 39 points a game, 8th best in the nation. Of course, when I said that the other day to the coaches, and Mike laughed, and because they scored only 3 points last week in Tucson, but you know that's not normal. This is a club that's so explosive. They scored 63 against Stanford.
Now, the lack of a running game really caught up to him last week.
Well, it hurt him right here.
Nathan Villegas coming on, 27-yard attempt, and he gets it. So the first points of the ball game, the field goal from Villegas. But on the other hand, Tim, Washington's got to feel good about the fact that after giving up a big play, their defense held. Short pooch kick. Joe Jarzinka at the 21 scrambles out to the 36.
And Terry, that's the best starting field position for Washington all day.
Which is saying something, because it's not spectacular starting field position. Play action for Heward going up top for Desasure, who can fly. One-on-one, a lot of contact and broken up. Rashad Bowman, the best coverage man, and there was plenty of contact with the arms all the way down the sideline.
Take a look at it now. Of course, it was the out and up. Now watch, the hands will start flaring both ways. Now here they're bumping and grinding, the ball's coming, and I mean to tell you, there is some major contact. Maybe Jim Lambright had an argument
from the 36 now.
But even without completions now, they're getting the attention of the defense.
Quick drop and a quarterback draw. Heward with room. He's got a first down with the slide.
Defense. And of course, he just tucked it away. I'm not sure this wasn't a quarterback. It was definitely a pre-planned quarterback draw. So they set it up with the long pass and then came back on the quarterback draw. And got
Mr. Towns being worked on the sideline. He's had a bad foot the entire season. That was Washington's longest play of the day, by the way. Willie Hurst fights this way into Oregon territory, knocked out of bounds at about the 45. A gain of 8, so it's 2nd and 2 from the 45. Hurst the lone setback. Gonna give it to him. Bounces outside, got a first down. Inside the 40 to the 37. Willison at fullback now. What they did on first down. Play action, Heward throws and overthrows the intended receiver. Gerald Harris wanted a flag.
But again, here's what happened. Look, right here, you only have 7 guys in the box. So he figures we're not going to run. We're going to go ahead and we're going to try to throw, because out here we've got one-on-one coverage. It just wasn't executed, but it was the right call. He got good protection. Look at the protection there. He's still looking to his receivers underneath his coverage, so he goes deep to the wide receiver and overthrows it.
Willie Hurst tripped up initially, gets back to the line of scrimmage, may have fallen ahead for a yard. That's it. Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 8. Quick throw to Warren Hooker. Let him use his speed. He gets close to a first down. I don't think he got Washington it. Going for it on 4th down. The flip back to Jarzinka is not going to get anywhere near the line of scrimmage. On 4th and 1, Jim Lambright decides to go for it. Aaron Chevrant stops Jarzinka for a loss of 4.
This was a play they put in specifically for Oregon because they thought the Ducks would run themselves out of the play. But instead they had great contain. Everybody stays home on the reverse, and look at this. Backside pressure, flood control. They don't let him get outside. Nobody's fooled by it, and they make the stop.
What about the call on 4th and 1 to flip it back behind the line of scrimmage?
You know me, I would have just quarterback sneaked it. I had already called my play.
Ball's on the turf. Akili Smith, I believe, got it. Well, it's been a defensive struggle so far in a game that was expected to be a shootout. Damon Griffin sees it go right through his hands.
Last week he had only 1 reception for 13 yards, and I think he's going through one of those periods where he's very frustrated. Now watch number 5. He gets the cushion, he finds the open space, and the ball's right there, a little bit thrown behind him, but certainly catchable. He's got to make that catch, and ordinarily he's a guy that sat out last year with that injured thumb. Wasn't recruited in the Pac-10, sent a highlight tape. They get him, and he turns out to be their go-to guy. Very unusual for him to drop a pass like that.
0 for 3 for the Ducks on 3rd down. Plenty of room and time. Hartley with the catch at midfield. To the 45. They'll move the chains.
Once he starts and he has that time, now you think, all right, he's going to go into his scramble mode, and he can scramble. So you watch all the white jerseys, everybody just kind of holds their position, but they're stuck in limbo, which gives him plenty of time, and he finds the open receiver, Hartley. You can't give him too much respect. You still have to be aggressive and go after him. You've got to force him to do some things.
The numbers on Hartley. He and Griffin, a great 1-2 punch for Smith. Herman Ho-Ching, the only setback on 1st down inside the 45.
Boy, Smith is good, isn't he?
Ho-Ching breaks it outside after getting away from 1 tackler. And carries another inside the 40 to the 38. Herman Ho-Ching at 5'11", 210 pounds is a big, strong load.
I think coming into this game, Ho-Ching had a couple of he was a little bit concerned about his knee. He really hadn't taken the hits on it. Watch this, folks. He uses his power this time. He breaks outside. He's not concerned about his knee. He's already taken some hits. So he says, I'm taking these big guys on. There's Von Tour, 26, and he goes for a ride because Ho-Ching, as you mentioned, is a pretty good load. He just carried him for extra yardage.
Gain of 6. Ho-Ching's got a sleeve, a brace, and 2 knee pads on an extra 10 pounds or so.
Yeah, Mike Belotti's trying to get him to take some of that stuff off.
2nd and 4. The option. Smith has a lane. He's got a 1st down to the 30-yard line. Hit $176 in the Pirates organization. That'll turn you into a quarterback in a hurry. Going up top, Tony Hartley's got a step. He's got the ball into the end zone. Touchdown, Hartley. Touchdown pass from Smith to Hartley. He was locked up one-on-one. You're not going to stay with Tony Hartley.
And the ball was perfectly thrown, and for Akbar, it's the worst position you can be as a defensive back. He looked back, he saw the ball, he knew it was beaten. There was absolutely nothing he could do except hope that Hartley dropped it.
Villegas on for the point after. Up and good. But they've just given up the quick strike from Smith to Hartley, his 6th touchdown catch of the year. Eugene 12-11 until halftime, and now it's up to Brock Huard to try to bring the Huskies back.
He's got to get hot. He's only 4 of 10 for 25 yards.
Inside give, that's Braxton Clement, his first carry of the game. The freshman who was expected to start, but he's got a bruised shoulder that he suffered against USC. Straight drop this time in a deep one. Huard with time. Over the middle, throws it up for grabs, and it's picked off. Brandon McLemore with the interception. Desaussure was down there, but Huard just threw it up in the air.
McLemore was more aggressive than Desaussure was. Desaussure was actually trying to rearrange his route and adjust to the ball, where McLemore just went to the ball. Plenty of time for Huard. He had everything he needed to throw the football, but look at McLemore, much more aggressive. He goes up and gets it at its highest point and pulls down the pick. Brock Huard saying, oh man, I'm giving my guy a chance. Go to the ball.
You saw a moment ago the numbers as a flag comes down on Brock Huard and all the interceptions he has thrown as of late.
Well, start offense. 5-yard penalty.
And they're still talking about it. Well, it is time for the Aflac trivia question. This week's question:
When was the last time the Washington football team was ranked lower than their basketball team? No hint this week. Except it's been a while.
Well, if you say 1998, does that get it?
It's been a while. That's all I'll say. 1st and 15. The inside give. Chris Young, the fullback, with a power run out to the 23-yard line.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something, Kerry. This is a pretty daggone good Oregon team. They're 6-2. At one point, they were 5-0. And right now, they're starting to take control of this game. And if Washington doesn't pick up its bootstraps right now, pull them up, it's going to be a good old-fashioned whooping. Because right now, they're just dominating. Look at all the green jerseys, taking on the white jerseys, freeze it right there. And look at all this blocking that he has out here. Here's his lane. That is some great blocking. Right now, the Ducks are dominating.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Paul Hackett, the USC coach, said, forget about it. Oregon is the best team in the Pac-10. Bar none. Hartley wide open, and Achilles Smith under pressure from Farms overthrows him out of bounds.
In the first half is not a good thing for Washington when they're playing here. And they know all too well that snowball can start rolling, coming down the hill right at them.
1 sack earlier with the intentional grounding, yeah. 3rd and 4. Time for Smith this time, and throws behind the intended receiver, who was well covered. That was Bobby Nero. No pressure on Bidwell. Oh, and look at this one. Jarzinka backpedaling. He's going to let it go. Joe normally fields everything. He can't get to this ball. Inside the 10 at the 8. How do you like a 69-yard punt from Josh Bidwell?
He finally just gives up on it. He's backpedaling and said it'd be too dangerous if, in fact, I field it. So it hits at the 18, rolls inside the 10, stops at the 8. By the letting the ball hit the ground, they lose those 10 yards, and now they're backed up. And I mean backed up deep.
That's coming up next. Most of you here on the West Coast. So it's 1st and 10 for the Huskies. Clement, tough running over the left side. Runs into Chevron right at the 10-yard line. 2 wideouts. This is Shuri and Gerald Harris. Quick drop, pump fake. Harris had a step. What an interception. Rashad Bowman with a diving pick. That is as good an interception as you are going to see.
You know, it just looks to me like the defense is gutting it out a little bit better than Washington. They're going after things a lot harder. Plenty of protection. Look at the protection right here that Eward's got. Plenty of protection. Never threatened. He throws it up and he says, Harris, go get it. But instead, look at Bowman. Bowman's playing inside, blocks him out, plays his hip pocket inside out, uses the sideline to bracket him and makes the interception.
Bowman's 3rd interception of the year. Achilles Smith looking for a big one over the middle. Tony Hartley had it and lost it at the 20.
That's Washington ball.
Washington comes up with it. Hakeem Akbar on the hit. Actually, he recovered the fumble, but a big hit on Hartley caused the fumble.
Boy, and a huge turnover, too. I mean, Smith was going for the jugular there. They just got the interception, so he's throwing down deep to the 20. And a great hit, and Akbar, who was beaten on the touchdown moments ago, gets the recovery. But watch the hit. First of all, boom, there's the hit. Ball's loose right there after 42 gets him. That's Johnson. Johnson knocked it out, and then Akbar makes the recovery.
Torrey Butler, the cornerback, is a guy with the initial hit. Hartley's still shaking up a little bit. So Eward back on the field. Barely got his helmet off on the sideline.
So Butler slowed him, Johnson tagged him, and Akbar comes up with it.
Running the freshman over the left side. Ahead for a couple, maybe 3. Braxton Clement, number 29, is only a freshman, and that's what Washington's been going with. But he comes from a small town in Washington, Oroville. But he's lived really all over the world. His dad in the military, lived in Germany for a while. And a great story. The kid from a small town who comes in here, thought he'd redshirt, but now has to start because of all the injuries.
He's actually playing hurt today. He's got a bruised shoulder. He hurt it against Southern Cal.
Yeah, it was Hurst who started, actually, but they expected Clement to start. Clement into the line, nowhere to go. Dietrich Moore
The junior out of Anchorage, Alaska.
You know, Terry, this has been a tough year for Washington. We mentioned that. Washington likes to stay balanced, but the run game has not been at full speed or up to par, so the Huskies are a more passing team now. But they haven't even had that success here today. And with 2 picks, Brock Huard cannot get gun-shy. He's got to continue to pull the trigger.
Looker and Harris to the near side. That's a sure wide to the top of your screen. Lemon the lone setback. Desaussure being held, and he makes the catch. Andre Desaussure with a one-handed catch because the other hand was tied up with Rashad Bowman.
You know, that's tit for tat. Bowman made that great interception, and again, he's got great coverage. But again, I think it's too aggressive coverage. They're letting him play, and they're playing hard, and they're bumping and grinding a lot. This is a terrific catch by Desaussure. Now watch, here they go. Both of them using their hands again. Now the ball's in the air. Desausure's locating it. Bowman doesn't until it's late. When he tries to close on it, now watch this catch. One-handed. Oh, actually, you got to give Bowman part of that reception. He had the other hand on it.
The numbers on Desaussure, who can fly, a track star. And the Ducks came over and made contact.
Right on the field.
That was a perfect pass from Brock Huard, too.
Well, he's given his receivers a chance to get to it. The 2 interceptions, really, I didn't think should have been picked.
No play. Contact by the defense. Offside, 5-yard penalty.
That was a 35-yard gain on that catch by Desaussure, by the way. Earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question, and there it was. When was the last time that a Washington football team was ranked lower than its basketball team? Take a shot.
1975, December.
You saw it come up. It has been a while.
When in doubt, look about, better cheat than repeat.
The Hoops team, though, well, they were good last year and ranked high this year. The season about ready to get underway, at least on the college level. The NBA might be a while off. Braxton Clement over the left side for a few.
Terry, don't you have the feeling that this drive is huge for Washington, especially after Desaussure made that nice catch? Huard put the ball right there for him with a nice throw. But, I mean, here they are down to the 36-yard line, and you have a feeling that it would just break their spirit, I think, if they come away without any points here.
They had the one drive which they sustained early in the game, but couldn't get anything out of it. And this has been their most productive so far. Play action, Huard, no pressure at all. Throws out, Desaussure with a diving catch. Stays in bounds at the 24. Oh, he's come up with a couple of terrific catches, Tim.
Came into the game with 18 receptions. He's got 2 of the best you'll ever see here on this drive. He made that one on Bowman a second ago. Now watch this. This is a down and out. He gets a good push. Now watch the break to the outside. Now he's got to really get over to the ball and catch it low, and he does. Great concentration, sensational hands, and they move the chains. A first down for Washington.
First and 10 from the 23. Clemens stacked up behind the line. Not this time. A number of Oregon tacklers led by Vanderveer, the middle linebacker.
But they had been using Nelson as a tight end, one of their tackles. They moved him over to tight end. That time they didn't. They went small on the offensive line and tried to run out of a passing formation.
And it showed. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Valvoline halftime 98. Scores from around the country. There have been some big games, including the Michigan win today.
Starting to rain a little bit harder now.
Contact again. It looked, though, like there was movement on the Washington offensive line. Maybe Aaron Dalen.
No play. False start.
Time now to take a look at the Burger King. The biggest play of the first half, you can guess what it was. Akili Smith with a long strike to Tony Hartley.
And this is one of those situations where Akbar knows that he's beaten, looks back, can't do anything but just swing that left hand. But by that time, he's already in the end zone. And there you have it, 10-0.
30-yard strike, Hartley's 6th touchdown catch of the year. Dane Looker in motion to the far side. Huard, plenty of room to run now. It closes down at the 25. He's offset. Here comes Looker in motion. Going back, and Hewitt's got to call a timeout. The play clock running down.
No one knows if the mind rules the body or the body rules the mind. The University of Oregon encourages both. In addition to 18 Rhodes Scholars, 203 Fulbright Scholars, and 2 Nobel Prize winners, 10 of our 78 Olympic competitors won medals in their events. So whether the mind or the body is more important just depends on what circles you run in.
Maybe the biggest play of the first half for Washington. 3rd and 12 coming up from the 25 for Brock Huard.
He's been getting good protection. They haven't even gotten close to him today.
Dane Looker goes back in motion to the far side. Plenty of protection again. He's got Harris in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Catch. Gerald Harris with a touchdown catch.
And again, that's a great catch, Terry.
I mean, this ball is perfectly thrown. Look at him break to the outside. Now the ball's out there waiting for him. He just goes up and takes it in on the fingertips. Harris with his 2nd touchdown of the year. He now has 23 catches for the season. That's a big one.
And the extra point, no good.
Well, a touchdown, again, give the offensive line a lot of credit because they gave Huard plenty of time to throw. And then when he threw it, he's got velocity on it, puts a little bit of air under it so that only his guy Harris can get there. That is a well-thrown ball and a nice catch by Gerald Harris.
Jason Cooper, no, it's Fletcher who's going to field it right ahead of Cooper. Sidesteps one across the 30, still up. Cuts back and out to the 38-yard line. Michael Fletcher with a nice return of 22 yards. Well, ABC Sports presentation of college football. Off in the distance here, expecting rain all afternoon. It's gotten chillier and chillier in Eugene, Oregon. Herman Ho team straight ahead with a power run to the point. Chris Wanke, Tim, has been nearly perfect since that game we had in Raleigh against NC State when he threw the 6 interceptions.
And NC State beat him that day. And you're right, he's been on a pretty good roll. Having another good day against Virginia today. And I suspect he'll have his way next week against Wake Forest.
And don't count Florida State out of the Bowl Championship Series picture yet.
Contact by the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
And despite the BCS formula, despite all that, USC coach Paul Hackett said that Oregon was the best team this conference had.
Yeah.
And a couple tough losses. Just make it tougher.
But 2nd and 13 now after that ball was loose after the whistle. Now Ohio State, UCLA, Tennessee, and Kansas State. Now, Kansas State also has been penalized for their weak schedule, but it gets much tougher the last 3 games. And they'll be rewarded for that in the Bowl Championship Series standings. Keely Smith with a wall of time. Donald Haynes, touchdown. Haynes wide open. And Smith stood there calmly and just drilled it over the middle. "27 yards.
I'll tell you this, not only did he have time, but he had 2 receivers open. He could have taken his pick. He looks left, looks right, decides to go back, and he picks Haynes. Griffin was open on the left side. He's now 8 of 14, 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. Achilles Smith, they put the game plan on his shoulders. We told you that early on. They told him to go after the weak secondary, and he's been successful.
Nathan Villegas on for the point after, splits the uprights. 209 yards already in the air for Achilles Smith.
Griffin was open. Haynes was open. Look at this. They had underneath. Now, it looks like they're in zone coverage. They are. It looks like they're in a cover 2, which is a zone, but the safety's supposed to pick up top. Well, Butler, number 10, doesn't get over when Haynes comes across the middle, and he splits the seam, and he was open. Great read by Smith. Look at Haynes. Donald Haynes, his 12th reception, his first touchdown catch of the year, and he's a senior. So when you get those touchdown catches, you want to remember them and enjoy them and celebrate them.
Had a good week against Arizona with 5 catches, but did not catch a touchdown. And as you mentioned, his first one this season. Achilles Smith has come so far since we watched him a year ago. In confidence, in knowledge of the offense, how he runs the offense, composure, poise.
Last year he relied a lot on just his raw talent. Didn't have a complete understanding of the game plan and the offense. This year he does, and you're right. You can see it in him. He is comfortable. He is confident.
And Katz kicks this one to Torrey Butler at the 7. Bringing it back up the middle, runs into his own man. He'll bring him down at the 25.
On the good playing surface for UCLA.
Washington State taking on number 11 Arizona, and that's tonight. Ewart looked like he was trying to set up a screen. Now has a lane to run, and he's got a first down at the 38-yard line.
Look at number 3, Destin Sure. He's wide open. See, he came back underneath, and there was absolutely nobody there. Ewart never saw him.
Destin Sure wide to the near side now. Quick drop. That's who he's looking for initially. Nowhere to run. Rock ahead to the 41-yard line. Took a pop at the edge. Hit him hard. 2nd and 8. Got time this time. Dane Looker with a catch out in the flat. Gets away from one, but not entirely. Tamani Joyner, the sophomore, got a hold of his foot. And he's really back in the same spot he was in on the last drive. And Nick Tim trying to get some momentum before halftime.
He works well out of these situations, though.
And to send Braxton Clemens back deep in the backfield. And that's who he gives it to, with a hole up front, but there are flags on the play.
Illegal formation, only 6 players. 5-yard penalty.
One of the receivers was off the line. They only had 6. You have to have 7.
Couple of timeouts left for Hewitt. Dane Looker. Pass midfield. Run out of bounds at the 47 and a late flag.
It's going to be a face mask, and that'll give him a first down.
Personal foul. Penalty. It's the defense. At the end of the run.
Crowd gets back into the game here at Autzen Stadium now. Quick drop, throws out to Looker. Tries to get outside, can't do it. Nice play by Rashad Bowman. Quickly to the line of scrimmage on 2nd and 9. Over the middle, Looker again. Gets away from one, he's got a first down. The speed of Dane Looker, and they'll stop the clock to move the chains. 7 straight completions for Brock Hewitt. On first down from the 21. Quick out, Juergens gets out of bounds. Inside the 15 after the play.
When they get to the hurry-up offense. Well, one thing is the defense doesn't have time to set. They don't have a chance to do a lot of complicated things, so they stay in a basic zone, and that's pretty much what they were doing here. They took advantage of it and just went to the corner in the flats.
That's got to be mindset, doesn't it? And even if you're part of it in the old prevent defense defensively, you're back on your heels. 2nd and 1. Clement in motion. Quarterback draw. Hewitt met at the line of scrimmage, but gets ahead inside the 10 and quickly calls the timeout. There's Joe. The crowd as loud as they've been all day. 1st and goal. Hewitt away from one. Scramble. Throws to the end zone. Got Looker for a touchdown. The 7th catch of the afternoon already for Dane Looker, and a critical one.
That's a great play by Hewitt because his primary receivers was Juergens. He was going to throw it right here, but Juergens fell down. Then he escaped the pressure, gets outside, and then here comes Looker, who skated with him and fought to the outside and made the catch. Don't forget, they missed an extra point earlier, so they're going for 2 now.
Looker had 12 catches last week against USC.
They want to make this a 1 field goal game.
With 11 seconds left, going for 2. Throwing the fade, and Chris Juergens was running a slant.
See, now watch. He'll come to the inside. He thinks he's got inside leverage, and right away, Hewitt doesn't even wait. He's throwing to the outside thinking he is running the timing pattern.
You think Juergens just read that and came inside?
You two can help.
Well, Heward went up to him and talked to him. His read was different than what Heward had.
And we saw Dessus Schur do a similar thing on the first interception of the game downfield.
You know, Heward didn't wait either. I mean, he took the snap, and then he of course evades the rush here. This is the touchdown, and then he slides and he finds Looker. Now watch what happens after he throws to Looker. Takes a pretty good lick himself. That's Bauman, the cornerback, who came up out of the secondary. Made the
Cooch kick taken by Jed Weaver, the tight end. And he's going to bring it back to the 48. There are still 6 seconds left until halftime.
That's one of those deals where you pooch it high and you hope the guy will call a fair catch right there, but he doesn't. Instead, he picks up a couple of blockers and the guys overrun their coverage.
Achilles going to take a shot. Throwing the Hail Mary. 3 receivers down there. And he overthrows him right through the hands of Turay Butler, and that will do it for the first half. The Huskies have come back, and now they've got a little bit of spirit going to the locker room. But it is Oregon who leads 17-12. An average day in the Great Northwest, raining throughout the entire day, although it's picked up in the last half hour or so. 17-12, the Oregon Ducks leading Brock Huard and the Washington Huskies right now, but new life Tim Brandt for Washington in that second quarter as Huard got hot.
And the Huskies have the ball to start this half, you're right, and with 9 straight completions for Huard, you've got to believe now he's going to come out and start throwing because the running game was not that effective. Now, if you just pass and pass, eventually, you know, they're going to bite you, and he threw those 2 picks. But right now, as soon as he started getting on that streak with 9 straight, the running game got a little bit better, and all of a sudden Washington's on the board, and 17-12 is a ball game. When we thought at one point Oregon was going to start to run away with it.
Both teams with 2 losses in the conference. Turay Butler comes up quickly to handle his kickoff, and then is drilled at the 35. Oh, what a hit. Wesley Mallard, the linebacker, just smoked him. The Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half statistics.
Well, the 2 interceptions jump out at you, but Oregon was not able to get any points off of those interceptions. So, you know, that didn't hurt them as badly as they thought. You look at the 3rd down conversion, neither team really outstanding in that regard, and the reason is because they've been passing and haven't been able to get anything on first. They're putting themselves in bad spots.
How about the 29 yards rushing by Oregon, too? You expect them to try to get some kind of ground game going to match the air attack. First down, pass out to Chris Juergens out of the backfield up to the 40-yard line.
But both backfields depleted. You know, we certainly documented that in the first half. The tailbacks aren't there on either side, so they really weren't expecting the big running games.
2nd and 6. It brings up after the gain of 4, the catch by Chris Juergens, the freshman. And we've seen a lot of freshmen getting action for both teams. Huard trying to get something going on the opening drive of the second half. Andre Dessus Schur, the speedster, wide to the far side. Straight ahead goes Willie Hurst, right into the line, a gain of maybe 2. So the opening moments of the second half here in Eugene, Oregon, in an old rivalry, the 92nd meeting between Oregon and Washington. They first played back at the turn of the century.
You know, the Huskies have 5 receivers with 18 or more catches. They do spread it around, and we saw a little bit of that in that first half.
3rd and 4 from the 42. And the crowd into the second half right away. Looker goes in motion. Rolling out is Huard. Plenty of time. Throws it right through the hands of Rashad Coleman. He almost had his second pick.
Boy, Huard got away with one there. I'm not sure what he was doing. He had already scrambled out of the pocket. He really wasn't under a great deal of pressure, but he threw it right into the secondary, right into the defensive back.
Now, they've had some miscommunication throughout the game with the receiver.
Look at this. There's nobody really putting a whole lot of pressure on him, and he throws it right to Bowman almost.
Ryan Fleming on, the junior out of Seattle. Michael Fletcher back deep at his own 21. Going to send Fletcher back to the 15. met right away and sent back inside the 15 to the 14 as a penalty marker on the play. A punt of 43 yards. Fletcher lost 2.
It might be a block in the back against Oregon. If it is, it'll really back him up.
43 yards.
Tim Springer's been a busy guy this afternoon. Each team with 5 penalties in the first half and a couple of key ones for Washington, which stopped drives.
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team, half the distance from the end of the run, first 10.
Well, next Saturday live at 3:30 Eastern right here on ABC Sports. There's your lineup on the West Coast, the Bruins. Now, UCLA taking on these Washington Huskies. The big matchup between Nebraska and Kansas State in the Big 12, Ohio State, Iowa, and an ACC game. Make sure you call your cable or satellite company for games available on pay-per-view next Saturday right here on ABC. So the Ducks backed up inside their own 10. They'll start with Akili Smith under center at the 8. Herman Ho-Ching looks for room over the left side, finds something up to about the 14-yard line. Ho-Ching, the freshman out of Long Beach, California, playing with that brace and the injured knee.
Well, not only does he have an injured knee, but Lester Towns is playing banged up as well. He's slowed by injuries. He's the captain of this defense. He makes all the calls, and on this play, he missed the tackle. So you got 2 banged up guys going against each other. But watch 17 here. That's Lester Towns. Skates down the inside. He's got him in his view. Gets an arm on him, but cannot wrap up. He can't push off the foot like he normally would. He's not 100%. Consequently, Ho-Ching ran away from him.
The AstroTurf doesn't help either. It's cold, and this is a hard turf. They're at Oregon. Quick out. The catch by Damon Griffin, and then he is popped right at the 20-yard line. Torrey Butler hit him at the 20, but they should move the chains. He should have a first down.
Butler had a huge game against BYU. He's a talented guy. His older brother, he's playing on the team as well. But if you look this, it's a quick out, and that's where the separation was. Now when he comes, he closes, and he'll get a good lick on him. You know, he tucks that tail and skies the eyes and tries to separate the ball from him, but it's too late. The completion's been made. They move the chains.
Damon Griffin, the leading receiver, came in with 34 catches. That's his first catch of the afternoon, and he only had 1 last week against Arizona. Had a drop in which he would have had a first down early in this game. Ho-Ching looks for room, dances around, no room to be found.
I said Butler's brother's on the team, and what I meant by that is his brother was shot and killed, and every day on that team, he just imagines his brother's on that team. He plays for his brother every play. He thinks about his brother. He tries to, that's his motivation as he goes through the season.
Second and 10 for Mike Belotti's offense. He has talked about how crucial it is to run the football in the month of November, a month in which he has been very good. 8-1 and 4-0 at home, but this is a team without much of a running game at all. Only markers down.
Washington says Oregon moved.
Might have been Jed Weaver, the tight end.
Well, start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Rather inauspicious start for the Ducks.
Backed up inside their 10 with a penalty, and after the first down, now they're backed up again. You feel this momentum switching a little bit?
Watch the left side of the line. You can see he moves first, then he moves, then he moves, and everybody then points. See all the points? Points, points, points.
Very fashionable to point. Ho-Ching trying to get outside. Got a block, and he does. Turns the corner. Stiff arms one and knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Has to get to the 32 or just outside of it for a first down, but another strong run, a gain of 11 before being run out of bounds by Wandame Davis.
You have to admit, this is a bonus today for Oregon. They didn't know how much Ho-Ching could play. They didn't know how effective he would be, but he's come in and he's been very, very strong since he first came into the ball game.
Only a freshman gained over 1,400 yards. In fact, almost 1,500 as a senior in high school, and had 26 touchdowns in Long Beach.
You know what's amazing is he's been out since September 19th with that knee injury, and he comes back, he looks in pretty good football shape.
Yes. 3rd and 4. Washington showing blitz. Here they come. Out to Weaver, the tight end. He's got a first down and more. Herring tackle up to the 43-yard line. 15 yards from Smith to Weaver.
He just ran over Davis, and Davis was hanging onto his leg and being dragged along.
There's Josh Smith, defensive end, who is down, and it looks like he's holding that right knee. And Jim Lambright's got to be saying, how much of this can we take? For both of these clubs, it's been like a mass unit throughout the year with all the injuries. They tend to Smith. We'll step aside and be right back.
Because there is a man in Chicago planning his retirement this year. Because there is a family in Boston who hopes to send their kids to college someday. Because there is a doctor in New York looking forward to the day she will open her own clinic. Because the dreams of every investor continue to change in a complex world, so too have we. Which is why at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we measure success one investor at a time.
Because of our passion for design and engineering, our vehicles speak for themselves. And recently, others have had some great things to say about our quality, too. Sebring Convertible, Total Quality Award. Town & Country, Total Quality Award. Cirrus, Best in Class and Initial Quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Concord, Best in Class and Initial Quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
Head out on the highway, looking for adventure, and whatever comes our way. Okay, here in God are gonna make it. Oh, born to be wild, born to be wild.
The Madigans were like a lot of us, just making ends meet with their credit cards, paying the mortgage, putting 2 boys through college. When the student loans came due, that was it. So they called the money store. For their home equity loan, we paid off the cards, paid off the school loans. Now they're saving $500 every month and getting their credit back on track. And their sons? They won't be starting out in debt.
The Money Store. 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Green Bay and Pittsburgh. They meet for the first time ever on a Monday night. Who says there's nothing new on TV? Monday on ABC.
I want to show you what happened to Josh Smith. He was injured on that last play. Watch 99 right here. Gets cut underneath, but his foot got caught on the carpet. Did not give away, so the knee gives way. Weakest joint on the strongest limb of the body. They help him off. He's replaced by Ryan Julian.
Under pressure as Smith sets up his screen to Jerry Brown. Breaks one across midfield to the 48 of Washington. And his offense now driving after being backed up with 2 penalties.
And Terry, remember we talked about 3rd down conversion. Neither team was really doing well on 3rd downs. You get a 1st down play like this, guarantee you're coming back on 2nd and 3rd. You get the 1st. There's a look at Josh Smith. Still working on his knee and icing it down.
Which I guess is a good sign. They haven't taken him to the locker room to x-ray. Or to look further.
Yeah, but if they've got ice on it, he's not coming back today.
No. 2nd and 1. You take a shot at something long. They don't have the formation in right now.
Yeah, that's a good call. It's a waste down. You might as well go ahead and see they listen to you and they run it.
A big play, though, with Jerry Brown. 1st down and much more. Run out of bounds at the 33. But there is a flag on the play. Back near the line of scrimmage. And they are walking in that direction.
Hold it. Offense.
So 3. And work on Jim's microphone there. 3 critical penalties in this drive, slowing up the Ducks.
Yeah, so it's 2nd and 1. Now it becomes 2nd down and 11 or 12.
After a big play from Jerry Brown, a junior who has only carried the ball twice coming into this game. He's had injuries the last couple of years.
Danny Polito goes back out of the ball game. They had 2 tight ends, and Damon Griffin comes back in, so I suspect this time they are going to throw.
Griffin and Hartley wide to the far side. They operate out of the eye with Chris Young as the fullback. There goes Brown right at the line of scrimmage.
We're over 2. Boy, I think they're breaking tendencies.
We're doing well, aren't we? Lester Towns, the junior on the stick.
People saying, who are these idiots?
We have just gotten word that Josh Smith has a sprained knee and will not be back this afternoon. We knew he wouldn't be back, but that's what they believe it is at this point anyway, a sprain. So it's 3rd and 12 for Akili Smith. And now Griffin and Hartley to the near side.
Safe to say he's going to pass?
I think we're okay. We might be 1 out of 3 after this play. Yep. Smith with time. Going up big, double coverage. Oh, catch by Hartley, no. Yes, he held on to it. At the 18, his 5th catch of the afternoon. What a great catch.
Hakeem Akbar is wondering how in the heck that ball got by his hand. They had him bracketed. They had him over the top and underneath. And Akbar puts his hand up, and I don't know how this ball got through. This is a great throw by Smith. Akili Smith, they say, is a great quarterback. Watch this. Look at number 9. His hand is up there, and the ball seemingly goes right through it. Terrific, terrific catch by Tony Hartley. Great concentration.
46 yards on the pass from Smith to Hartley. And Oregon inside the 15 at the 13 now. They're going to run the option. Quick pitch to Brown. Trying to get outside. Can't do it. Run out. He may have lost a yard. Torrey Butler with good speed on the corner.
Yeah, and Butler does a good job closing on the run.
Run out by Torrey Butler.
Herman Ho Ching now in the backfield. As you look at Butler, who's been active and been tested all afternoon.
Terry, what's amazing to me is Ho Ching's in there. They still only gained 54 yards on the ground. This from an Oregon team that averages 209 yards rushing a game. That's in the nation's top 20.
Yeah, tops in the Pac-10, but of course much of that earlier in the season before their ground game broke apart with injury. Ho Ching slammed to the turf. He'll just past the original line of scrimmage, Jabari Issa and Marcus Hairston.
But Terry, give this Husky defense a lot of credit. They are closing on the ball quickly when it is in fact a running play. Smith has had most of the success throwing long and getting great catches from Hartley and Haynes and Griffin.
Ohio State being tested by Michigan State. Kansas State winning big again today. Tennessee may roll right into Tempe. Don't count the Seminoles out just yet.
Yeah, don't count the Cavaliers out yet either.
Jerry Brown, the lone setback
of the ACC race anyway.
Yeah, they're tied with Florida State right now. Loads of time for Smith. Now he runs out of it and throws to the end zone, incomplete. He almost completed that.
He almost got another great catch from Damon Griffin, who was on the ground. And the throw by Akili Smith was dangerous, but it's one of those deals where you have a guy that's so talented, he thinks he can make it happen. Now watch this. Here comes Griffin, and he runs right into Burton, number 8. All right, both these guys are grinding. Burton grabs his shirt, has a full hand of number 5. He's still grasping. Now all of a sudden, Griffin goes down, and here comes the pass.
29-yard field goal attempt by Nathan Villegas. No good. No good. After a drive that started inside Oregon's own 10. 3 penalties throughout the drive. Akili Smith with some big plays, and they come up empty. Much harder right now, though. It is pouring in Eugene, Oregon.
Yeah, the weather has deteriorated greatly. As a matter of fact, in the distance, we were able to see mountains back there, but you can't see that mountain back there. That
Oregon driving all the way down the field and then missing a 29-yard field goal attempt. So Brock Hewitt and the Huskies take over. There's Dane Looker going in motion to the far side. He sets now behind the line of scrimmage. Willie Hurst, the lone setback. It's Hurst straight up the middle, breaks away from a tackle, has room to get up to the 28-yard line. So it brings up 2nd and 2. Stewart directing traffic. Had 9 straight completions at one point. Pump fakes going long up the near sideline to Desaussure, who has a step. Got it at the 25. He beat Eric Edwards at the near sideline and a perfectly thrown football from Brock Huard.
When he did that, Edwards bit on it. Now watch. Here comes Huard. 1, 2, 3. Pump fake. Boom. Edwards bites. Then he throws over his head. That pump fake throws Edwards just enough for Desaussure to get that step, and the ball was waiting for him. Put a lot of air on it and let Desaussure run under it.
You run that play as kids in the playground, a little pump fake and the hesitation. Because most of us don't have sprinter speed of Andre Desaussure. Willie Hurst fights his way to the 23-yard. 15 out of 24 for 192 yards for Brock Huard.
See what they've done again here?
Washington to take the timeout. We'll take one too. Brock Huard and Washington on the move at the 23-yard line. 2nd and 7. Jamon Willis, the fullback. They offset the eye, and again, Huard wants a timeout.
I'm surprised at that one. You do not want to take all your timeouts here before the third period even ends. You're going to want these timeouts down the stretch in a close ball game on the road.
Let's take you back to 1994 as Solomon Smith-Barney remembers these two teams hooking up right here in Eugene. The defining moment of this rivalry in the 90s. 24-20. Damon Huard down by 4 points trying to win the game, but it is Kenny Wheaton in a play that Oregon Duck fans will remember for a long, long time. 97 yards to the end zone. It was the year that Oregon went to the Rose Bowl. And the only good thing about this day was that Damon's brother Brock watched this celebration from his living room. It left a bad taste in his mouth. He committed to Washington right then and there and always wanted to come back here and beat the Ducks. And to this day, Tim, he still feels that way and expresses it.
Well, here we are again. You've got the two Northwest rivals meeting again in this border war. And Huard's got him on the drive.
2nd and 7, but after the 2 timeouts. They fake the pitch, Huard to throw. Over the middle and through the hands, Gerald Harris. There was contact, and I don't see a flag.
Now, was the ball catchable? Take another look now. He's going to break back to the inside. He's working on Bowman 17. Now, see if Bowman doesn't get on him. He's on him right there before the ball comes and actually turns him around. Can't believe there was not a flag thrown.
Yeah. And we've seen it all afternoon, too. There's been a lot of contact, a lot of pushing and shoving and grabbing. Saw it a moment ago in the Washington end zone. Joe Jarzinka now in the game. He's in the slot. 5 receivers on 3rd and 7. Quick drop, going to throw it to the end zone. Harris one-on-one. Can't make the catch.
This is what they call a timing pattern. It's a fade, but it's a long fade. And Huard threw immediately. They came with the blitz, and he throws a perfect pass. Now watch Harris go up, and it's in his hands. That ball has to be caught to win a game like this on the road.
Little Joe Jarzinka on as Washington looks to try a 40-yard field goal, but the Ducks have called timeout.
Harris got his hands on it, and now Huard says, "Are you kidding me?" Now Oregon comes with a blitz. He's sitting there talking to Fletcher saying, "I can't believe he dropped that ball."
Fletcher saying, "Yeah, I know. You put it right in his hand." On just outside the 40-yard line, as long as the 35-yarder. Jim Lamright does not feel comfortable with Jarzinka kicking from this far. Plenty of leg, and it is good.
He is such a great story. A walk-on. Sold him on the fact that he could play. He's what they call a preferred walk-on because he had some great numbers in high school. But then he came and he says, "Hey, look, Coach, our kicking game is struggling. I want a shot. I can correct it." He started kicking, and I'm telling you, he has done it. Outstanding young guy.
5'7", 175 pounds.
Came into this game 3 of 5 from the field goal position, and he nails that one.
17-15. A short pooch kick again. Here comes Cooper. Fielded by one of the up men, though. Blazing speed, bringing it back out to the 34-yard line is Caleb Smith. Winky on fire the last 5 weeks or so. Akili Smith has been that way all season long, and again he goes to his tight end. Jed Weaver inside the 40 to the 34-yard line, all the way down there on 1st down.
It's another one of those, what happened, how to get by me.
33 yards.
I mean, the ball was well thrown. But watch this. Todd Johnson's got good position on him and goes up to make the pick. It's just a little bit too high for him, and there's your tight end. And Weaver just tucks it away, moves the chains, and they put the ball all the way down at the 36.
Achilles Smith, though.
It's alive.
Oh.
I mean, he really puts that ball on a rope.
He throws that out as well as anyone. First down at the 36. Play action. Smith slipped, has plenty of time, and through the hands of his fullback, Chris Young, who was open in the flat. How many rivers in the world?
Well, the Nile flies, goes north, flows north.
Yeah.
St. John does. The Monongahela does.
Right in Pittsburgh.
And then Willamette.
Play action. Oh, he drilled it right into Donald Haynes. What a throw. Between defenders and down to the 16.
You know what we ought to do? We ought to run that replay and then freeze it just before the ball gets to him, because there are 3 white jerseys all the way around him, and Smith just put it right in there. Throws a strike. It was Hairston and Akbar. Burton was there. Just perfectly thrown.
21 yards. He's got the DBs talking to themselves.
But, I mean, look at this. I mean, you've got white jerseys right there. 3 guys surrounded him, and the ball is a strike. Perfect.
Right between the 1 and the 0, and Haynes fights near the 15, so it's first down. Achilles Smith running the option. Back to Herman Ho-Ching, turns the corner, and knocked out by Wandame Davis. But it's inside the 10, all the way down to the 8-yard line.
And now it's a game of wills. It's a battle of wills right now.
They've played some legendary games, including that 94 game right here when Kenny Wheaton intercepted the pass, and this one turning into one of those. 2nd and 2. Ho-Ching bounces away from 1. The Towns with a foot injury, but doesn't slow him much.
He's not going to get the first. Look at the battle up front. You tell me who wins. Go ahead and roll and watch the white jerseys. They're not giving ground. As a matter of fact, they're attacking. Now, it looks like they got a hole. Stop it. Had he gone to the right, he had the hole. He had the block here. Instead, he comes in where the linebackers are, and they make the stop.
Ho-Ching getting arrested. You look at Lester Towns. Jerry Brown now in at tailback. Behind Young, the fullback, who throws a block. Brown wrapped up by a number of white jerseys behind the line of scrimmage. Couldn't turn the corner. Terry Butler and Hakeem Akbar.
Boy, first of all, they get the pressure up front. They get the penetration. They force it to go wide. They string it out, then the secondary fills. That is a big-time defensive play. And again, there's Torrey Butler right there leading the attack. There's a flag down, T.
Yep. They blow it dead. No play.
And moves them back further. I'm telling you, this is a great defensive stand by Washington.
Villegas off to the right. No good.
Privilege to call ourselves student athletes.
Back live here in Eugene, and the first play from scrimmage for Washington, straight into the hole, a gain of about 3 for Willie Hurst. Oregon has had their chances. They have just missed 2 field goals after long drives. 2nd and 7, a gain of 3 on that first play. Hurst hit behind the line of scrimmage, won't fit anywhere.
And I'm telling you, folks, Eugene is alive knowing Oregon can not only compete, but comes in the game favored against Washington, and these are 2 teams that don't like each other.
Oregon showing blitz, they step back. They're going to whistle it dead, a penalty marker behind the line of scrimmage.
Dead ball, no play. False start. Offense.
That's why they threw it early. I don't know why Cadledge was so upset unless he's the guy that moved.
Top right of your screen, behind the line.
There he is. See if he moves. Yep, there he is. And look, here's Cadledge here. And then he's the guy that went up to the official and started yelling at him.
Well, Big Ben couldn't even see Willie back there. They offset Hurst to the near side this time. Here comes Dane Looker in motion. Pocket collapsing around here, and down he goes for the first time. The first sack of the afternoon. Saul Patu.
But when it counted the most, the Ducks went back to Gang Green and made the hit. He looks, there's nothing there, and it causes him to just hesitate that extra split second. And when he starts to pull out of the pocket, they get him from behind.
Patu beat Dalen, but Ewart had a lot of time initially. That's high snap. Fleming gets it away, and it's a pretty good kick. Fletcher coming back and going in the wrong direction. Wrapped up, brought down at the 40, maybe the 39. Now, Mike Bellotti and Jim Lambright are not the best of friends. There is plenty of respect there, but there were words after last year's contest. The Washington staff saying that maybe Mike Bellotti coaches hatred against Washington. These two teams don't exactly hang out in the offseason together. Herman Ho-Ching wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, and it was Marcus Harrison. First play of the fourth quarter, Akili Smith back to pass. Has room to run. Chased out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Jabari Issa had him on the run. Terry Gannon, Tim Brandt, a good one here in Eugene, Oregon at Autzen Stadium. Opening moments of the fourth quarter. Mike Bellotti's club 3 of 10 on third down today. Smith looks back, quick slant. Got his favorite receiver, Damon Griffin, but he's not going to get near the first down.
Defensively, Washington is playing extremely well. Now they fly out. Here comes the screen. Come back underneath. Hopefully there's some blockers in front, but there aren't. The white jerseys have already defeated them. Linebackers come flying over. There's Tuiea, number 78. He makes the tackle. They stop the play.
Solid tackle on a defensive tackle, Tuiea. Jarzinka back outside his own 10. Bidwell, who has boomed them today, had a 69-yarder early in the game. Whoa, Jarzinka is hit before he can catch it. Here come the flags. Can't do that, folks.
I mean, the defender gets there before the ball.
Gary Barker, the man who hit it.
Barker was flying down there so fast, he was hoping that he would time it. He knew Jarzinka was not going to call the fair catch. He was just hoping the ball would get down in a row.
Interference with the opportunity to catch a kick. 15 yards out of the foul. First down.
Sopo in at quarterback now.
And he leads the Huskies in rushing. Tuiasa Sopo does. 307 yards.
Braxton Clement, the freshman, in at tailback. They're going to run the option. Looked like he wanted Clement, but nowhere to run. Couldn't pitch it, couldn't run himself. Wrapped up by Dietrich Moore, number 29, and with a lot of help from Justin Wilcox. Yeah, and the big one, Michigan, would have win today over Penn State, and they smacked them. Penn State looking for revenge, didn't get it. Quick throw, and underthrown. Dane Hooker came back, did not make the catch.
Watch 29, tight via screen. There he is in front of Heward. He leaps, and his left hand touches the ball. That causes a problem, and Hooker never really had a shot.
Out of the shotgun. 5 receivers. Throw it back to Harris. Pop right at the line. Hit by Bowman. That has been a one-on-one confrontation all day long.
Because he makes some mistakes, but he makes some spectacular plays. This is a spectacular play. He reads it right away and starts in a full-out sprint, and I mean, just lays a lick on him and says, that's right, that's me, we stopped it.
Bowman and Harris have been locked up throughout the day. They've been talking to each other through the day. Contact on every pass play. Fleming's punt, a line drive kick. Michael Fletcher at the 30. Hit hard up to the 37-yard line. The Ducks like it in the rain. It's been raining all day long today, and they lead 17-15 over Washington and take over at their own 37. Don't forget, at the conclusion of today's game, we will select the Chevrolet most valuable player of the game for each team. Smith taking over. They split the backs in the backfield. Great drop. And he throws it behind Jerry Brown, the tailback, who had come out. Could have caught the ball, though. That ball was catchable.
Well, it should have been caught. As soon as you said straight drop, it was about the time it hit him, and he dropped it. I mean, it was like he was listening to you. The ball was a little bit behind him, but he still got to make that catch. What he did is he let it get it too close to his body. It got in against his chest plate and bounced off.
The only 2 Pac-10 teams with winning records each of the last 4 years. The numbers on Akili Smith in the first and second half. Very good. The long drives were stalled.
Here's your guy up there. That's Hartley. That's where he's looking.
Under pressure as Smith throws it out there. He's got Hartley. Makes a move. Now breaks to the outside. It's a foot race. Out of bounds. Just outside the 20-yard line. Wandame Davis
caught up with him. Tony Hartley's his go-to guy. Came into the game with 32 catches. He had 6 last week. Every time he gets in a tight fit situation, that's where he's going. He's going to number 2. Gives him a little stutter step. Watch this. All right, now he comes back to meet the ball. Once he does that, now he knows he's got leverage, and the defender has already run by him. So now he just wants to beat the pursuit that's coming from Akbar. Big gain down inside the 25, and Oregon once again on the move.
40-yard gain, 6th catch of the afternoon for Tony Hartley. Impressive numbers. Play action. Time again for Akili. Hartley, end zone, touchdown.
Bingo.
How easy did that look? 2 plays to number 2.
And Hartley is just ripping the heart out of Washington right now. Just made it look too easy, and Smith put it there both times. Now they move him to the other side. He finds her in a cover 2. They give him up to the safety. He runs by the corner, runs back in front of the safety, Akbar. Nobody picks him up. The ball's waiting for him when he gets to the end zone.
3-play drive. The drop by Jerry Brown out of the backfield. 40 yards to Hartley. Now the touchdown pass to Hartley. Diego Zan puts the upright. And just when you thought Washington again was feeling good about themselves and had some spirit, some life, some momentum, the Ducks come back with a quick strike. Well, we'll see what Jim Lambright does. He went with Marcus Tuiasosopo on the last drive, and you got to think that he'll come back with Brock Huard now. Torrey Butler at his 7th. Wanted to bring it back this way, cut back to the outside, brought to the turf at the 15, and not gently by Garrett Sable.
Here's a touchdown again from Tony Hartley. First of all, Smith looks and shows a great deal of patience, waits for him to get by the cornerback and then in front of the safety, and he puts the ball right there, perfectly thrown.
So it's Brock Huard's turn now. He comes on. The last series run by Tuiasosopo, and it wasn't very effective.
Well, I think part of that is because I think he might have hurt his arm. If you look at his right arm, his non-throwing arm, it looks like he scraped it and it was bleeding. They came out and attended to that while Tuiasosopo came in.
3 receivers set. Going to give it to the tailback, Clemens. Across the 20 to the 22.
See the blood around that right elbow? That's his non-throwing arm, but that's what they were tending to when he was on the sideline.
Long count for Huard. Scramble, steps up, and goes down at the 24-yard line. They had a sack earlier in the game. He may have gotten ahead of the line of scrimmage, but that pocket just collapsed around Brock Huard. 4 receivers. Clemens, the only man in the backfield, staying in the block. Huard looking for Harris. Just overthrown. He was double covered. With Tennessee and UCLA and Kansas State right there, the top 4 teams, their chances. Florida State, Florida right after that. Michael Fletcher at the 35. Loses at least 3 or 4. Got a good one going on here, though, in the 4th. Akili Smith stepping up, looking, throws. He's got Hartley wide open over the middle to the 36-yard line. Tony Hartley with a huge day. 1 for 30 yards.
Washington went soft on him. He scored when they were in a 2-deep zone. Here again, they're in a zone, and he finds the open spot, the soft spot of that. But what makes this play special is the way Akili Smith shows patience and just waits for him to clear. Now what? Wait. There he is in front of the safety. Wait, now let him have it. Boom. He finds the open area in front of the safeties, and Davis finally makes the tackle. But that's a nice play by Smith, and Hartley's on fire.
That's who he's looking for again. He's got Tony Hartley inside the 18. Another catch. Amari Lowe stopped him, but not before Hartley could catch his 9th pass of the afternoon.
I'm a little bit hot. I'm finding the areas. He's throwing to me, and we're down to the 20. I can get another touchdown here.
Like that old Caddyshack line. You don't think the hard stuff's coming down for quite some time yet.
He came into the game with 5 touchdowns.
You don't want to rest now. Herman Ho-Ching tripped up initially, fights his way to the line of scrimmage before Marcus Hairston stopped him. It's a heck of a duo. Hartley along with Griffin. Griffin the last 2 weeks has been quiet, but at least today they haven't needed him. Here comes the blitz. Smith throws, wrapped up. Is there going to be a flag? Don't see one. But it's 3rd and almost 16, and they're going to burn a timeout right here. 24-15, still a game, but Oregon continues to drive. Washington has not been able to stop them as of late. To the end zone for Hartley, double covered, no chance. Smith with his back on the turf.
Quarterback was covering Hartley that time. It was Davis who had him on the long pass. They took Davis out. They tried Lowe, and Lowe's got pretty good coverage. Now, he knows he's got help from the safety, so here comes Burton, number 8, over to help. Now they've got him high-low. A lot of bumping and grinding, and the ball was overthrown. But they tried Davis. Davis couldn't do it. They put Lowe in. He did a nice job.
The Agats from 42 yards. Just over the crossbar. He didn't get it by much, but that's all that counts. Nathan Villegas, the junior from Corona, California, makes it a 12-point game. Another Pooch kick. Here comes Terry Butler. And they'll have pretty good field position out near the 33-yard line to start from. They push it down on the 33. The Ducks back off, no blitz this time. Under the middle, Dane Looker. And a first down at the 49 over Virginia, but they have lost Chris Lanke, at least temporarily, with an injury. Heward had time initially, not anymore. He goes down. One of the rare sacks of the afternoon. Anthony Martin and Laia Sualua.
Heward gets him back up in a hurry. Watch this, though. He's looking left. He wants to pump fake and send him deep, and by that hesitation, gave the defense time to get to him. No huddle now.
Only second down now. Goes out to Looker and threw that one away. Oregon showing blitz. They back off. Heward up top, far sideline. Desasure, and there is contact, but that was not a catchable ball.
Really forcefully hitting each other. I don't know if this ball was catchable or not, because he never really is able to run freely. They're all over him. They're bugging him.
They are going to go on 4th and 12. Jim Lambright feels that the time is running out. Need to get to the 40. Through the hands of Desasure. It's Chris Young and Herman Ho-Ching as the ball is on the turf, and Achilles Smith gets it back.
There, you mentioned what's at stake, and you're right. We were talking to the Sun Bowl folks, and the holiday people were up here, and they were, handing out paraphernalia for their bowl. And of course, there's the Aloha, which we talked to Jim Davis about. And the Melikaliki Marker Bowl. I mean, there's a lot at stake for these guys.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, there is. I mean, both clubs with 2 losses in the league can ill afford to lose another one. Look at the numbers on Achilles Smith. Career high 442 yards.
I tell you, he's made a believer of me. He is a top-ranked player. 7th in the nation in passing, over 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns coming into the game, and he's just lit them up.
Ho-Ching looks for room as the Ducks want to keep it on the ground and burn the clock now, but can't get back to the original line of scrimmage. Smith with great size, got the arm. Now you look at the quarterbacks in the Pac-10, and besides Heward, the other guy obviously who comes to mind and maybe an MVP in the Pac-10 this year is Cade McNown. And the thing that McNown has done, while he hasn't put up the numbers that Smith has, he just keeps winning.
Well, 17 wins in a row is pretty big. Now, he's not putting up the numbers he had last year where he had 24 touchdowns, but he has thrown 16. He's run for 2, and he's over 1,800 yards passing.
3rd and 11. They can't keep it on the ground this time. Smith looking for Griffin this time. Good coverage. Burton was back there, and so was Amari Lowe. So you've got just under 5 minutes now.
Again, they were bracketing. They had the corner and the safety helping out in the coverage. You see Burton, number 8, underneath, and then you got Lowe up top. So they're high-low on him.
Ball was almost picked. Good coverage, and that means Oregon has to punt. So with 4:55 left, there's still plenty of time now for Washington.
Tough to bring back Bigwell's punts. Oh, my. Look at that. Inside the 5.
At the 1-yard line.
The 1-yard line. And not only that, it was a 48-yard punt.
You know, Bidwell is 12th in the United States in punting. He's got a 44-yard average. And all day, when Oregon had to come up with a big play, they'd come up with a big play. And Josh Bidwell, number 40, gives him a heck of a play here by putting the ball on the 1.
Doesn't have a 44-yard average anymore. Today's punts have been 69 and 50 and 48.
Which means he'll move up in the national rankings from 12th into that top 10 easily.
All Brock Huard has to do is go 99 yards and then do it all over again to win the game. They run straight ahead to try to get some room. Line's going to get some time right here.
Well, they have for most of the day.
Yep. He has it. He's got room to run if Brock wants to. He's going to throw instead. Nice catch by Dane Wilker.
He was over the line of scrimmage, though. Just about at the 2. Now watch, as he comes across the goal line, he's up to the 3-yard line, so he's across by about a yard.
3rd and 9 at the 2-yard line, just inside the 2.
And if you don't get it here, you do have to punt.
Juergens one-on-one, contact flag caught. Across midfield, Chris Juergens still up to the 32-yard line.
Well, what he does so well is he just puts it up there high and lets him run under it. That ball is perfectly thrown, and immediately Brock Huard says, all right, pass interference, we're declining the penalty. But that ball was nice. Chris Juergens made the nice catch. He came under it, made a big run after the catch, and they're all the way down to the 32.
They will not die and won't go away.
Well, and that's why this kid, Brock Huard's so special. He just never stops competing. With a capital P-A-S-S.
From the 32-yard line. Quick drop, quick throw. Juergens with a catch again, down to the 23-yard line. Now let's see what... John, thank you. Braxton into the line here for just a couple. Huard on first down to Looker, who is just hit and level outside the 15. Brandon McLemore and Damani Joyner. I think it was Joyner who hit him the hardest.
But he holds on to the ball. More importantly, the clock continues to run. Huard's trying to get him up to the line. He's got to do a clock play or actually make a call a play here and get it going.
Not going to down it. He's going to run a play. Looks one way, throws the other. Death is sure. Well outside the end. 4 receivers and Clement in the backfield. The numbers on Huard. Ducks looked like they were coming. They backed up. Hits Looker right in the helmet.
The point of that ball will have an X on his forehead. Watch this. As soon as he makes that break, the ball is there and hits him right in the forehead.
4th and 5. With time, Huard over the middle. Juergens got held up. And it's incomplete.
And I think that wraps it up for Oregon.
The offenses came in with all the hype, with all the pub, explosive offenses, quarterbacks, and they've done their job, but the defenses really have come up with big plays.
It almost looked like Juergens stopped his route. Huard was thrown where he thought he was going to get to and led him, and Juergens just kind of pulled up.
Mike Bellani not ready to celebrate yet, but there's 2:04 left, and he probably could, because that may have done it. Unless you see a mistake here by Akili Smith or a turnover. Coaching. Don't want to do that. at all. Inside it's 5. That's 3 balls on the ground. And the Huskies have it. Oh, my. Do you believe that? And Mike Bellotti saying, yep, that's what a freshman does, but we didn't want him to do it right now. Herman Ho-Ching running the other way and dancing around with the football out there.
Well, hold on, folks, with 1:54 left. There's new life for Washington. But look at this. He's trying to make something happen, but he's going backwards. He doesn't have a good grip on the ball. He's losing it. The tackle's made. The ball's loose. And Washington comes up with it. That play is huge.
For Bellotti and the Duck fans, a flashback to the UCLA game when they put it on the turf all day long.
And kudos to Burton, the guy who was alert enough to recover the fumble.
So first and goal, and Marcus Tuliasasoko in now for Brock Hewitt.
Play clock's down to 5. He's got to hurry.
Wanted to hand it off, couldn't do it. Tuliasasoko scrambles. He got to the end zone. Looked like a busted play, and Marcus makes a touchdown out of it.
What a competitor he is. You know what? Tuliasasoko makes something happen every time he comes into a ball game. And you know he loves to run it, so if you're the defense, you've got to be watching him. But he gets hit at the 1 and still struggles ahead and throws the ball out to break the plane.
Garzinka on for the extra point. Straight on through, and guess what? We got a ball game. We shouldn't have, but we got a ball game right now.
You know, they're expecting the onside kick, and everybody's bunched up tight, 27-22 with time left, but they also are great at pooching it. What you want to do is pooch it to this area right here and have your sprinters just try to, because after it goes 10 yards, it's anybody's football.
Onside, it's still loose. Still loose. The Ducks came up with it initially, and they have it. The ball was loose for at least 20 yards. But Oregon has got it at the 46.
And I think 3 guys touched it.
Yeah.
Washington certainly had its chances.
Now there's a minute 42 left, and Oregon will have the ball. And one of the things that really hurts Washington is that they burned 2 timeouts in the 3rd quarter.
Boy, he came to the ball like he was going to pooch it, and then all of a sudden, look, he just kind of squibs it there. Now watch. The ball's loose. There's 1, 2, 3 guys have it. 3 white jerseys had it before it was finally recovered by Oregon.
Herman Ho-Ching fumbled inside the 5, and it led to the touchdown.
Now you still have 1:42 left in the ball game, but keep in mind, Hewitt burned 2 timeouts early in this half.
Right.
He only has 1 left.
You got to like what Mike Bellotti has done with his freshmen, though. He brought Ho-Ching right back in after the mistake. I'm sure he had a few words with him on the sideline.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go right back to him and they do.
Scrambles ahead, holds on to the football this time, and may have a first down at the 43-yard line. And a pat on the back from Damon Griffin, the senior.
They come back and melt the clock.
Did not get the first down. It's 2nd and 1. Ho-Ching net behind a line of scrimmage and bust out. Still up. Twist down to the 37.
And there's a kid that says, Coach, I let you down, but it's not going to happen again. He comes up with 2 big runs. Breaks a tackle there. Another one. There's 2. There's 3 tackles. Finally, they get him by the jersey and they take him down. But running with authority, tenacity, the guy moves the chains, and with 46 seconds left, that probably wraps it up. Although we said that earlier.
Washington burns a timeout with step away. See what's coming up. 46 seconds left, and the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. Brock Hewitt of Washington, Akili Smith. Huge numbers for Akili Smith. 442 yards, 3 touchdowns on the afternoon.
And the Ducks are about to go to 7-2. They knew coming in a loss here today by Oregon would have been devastating. They lose 3 out of 4 after that 5-0 start. So they played with a sense of urgency, and they really came up with the big plays when they had to have them. Huge win for the Ducks.
They needed it at home. They knew that. 9-1, Mike Bellotti in the month of November. This is a big one. 27-22 over their arch rival, the Washington Huskies. A critical one in the Pac-10 as they try to keep pace and go to a mid to high ball. The Ducks the winner. For Tim Brand, I'm Terry Gannon. So long.